Okay, so good morning and happy May, everybody. Can you believe? I feel like we were just saying Happy New Year and we're already approaching. We've already finished a third of the year and moving fast and furious into the second third. So thank you so much for joining us today. Happy May, Millie. Happy to see you here as always. So we just finished up our series last week with Get Organized. So if you were joining us in March and April, for those of you who were feeling a little maybe scattered or disorganized in different aspects of your real estate business, we were looking at specific strategies to help you feel like you could rein that in. Now we're really switching gears and going to focus for the month of May on our Wednesday hours with taking a deeper dive into some of the tech platforms because there's so much opportunity there. And so many of us are just scratching the surface. Where we're going to start today with social media is LinkedIn. And we're really fortunate to have, our first expert joining us May 3rd is Scott Aaron. I was lucky enough to learn about Scott and learn about his expertise with LinkedIn through EXP Family Tree. So if any of you ever follow or attend any of the trainings through Workplace with EXP Family Tree, you may have seen Scott there. Ironically enough, when I reached out and made connection with him through LinkedIn, we learned that not only do we have interest in LinkedIn in common, but we also happen to live not just in the same state, but in the same town. So the world is very small. So Scott, we're really super excited to have you here today. As we've discussed, I think LinkedIn is just a completely underestimated muscle that we need to start leveraging and exercising in our real estate business. And so I would love to, just kick it off to you.
Recording in progress.
Just to remind everybody to mute. Try and catch everybody real quick. And just hear about your background and then just let you dive in. I'm going to go ahead and give host control over to you. And I just really look forward to hearing you today.
Awesome. Well, again, Deanna, just super, super grateful for the opportunity. And I think things happen for a reason. I guess you saw me present towards the end of last year. And that was a connection, how I was introduced to the family tree training. A client of mine, an old friend from growing up, is in the mortgage business, and then obviously referred me to one of her clients who hosted me on that training. And obviously now here we are. So it's, that 6 degrees of separation in life and business that tend to overlap. So yes, I am from Marlton, New Jersey, currently, originally from Philadelphia. My background was actually in health and wellness. I owned 3 different family-owned health clubs. One was in Old City, another was in Northern Liberties, and the final one I owned and operated until 2016 was in East Falls, just outside of Manayunk. In 2013 is when I started to kind of dive into the online marketing world because I wanted to expand outside of just the belly-to-belly general networking BNI aspect of networking and business growth. And I saw LinkedIn a great opportunity because it had switched over of maybe a job seeking platform, which there's still a touch of that on there, to more of a networking, connecting, and business opportunity network. And I quickly grew and scaled my online business within about 8 months when I started back in 2013. And I had friends reaching out to me and saying, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Can you teach me? And I showed a couple of my friends what I was doing because they were also in the online marketing space. And one in particular got back to me and said, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but I have 14 appointments booked this week. You should be teaching this. And I said, what do you mean I should be teaching this? I said, I'm a trainer. And he goes, well, yes, you're training people, you're doing nutritional counseling, corporate wellness speaking. This is just business consulting. You're helping people grow their business in this way, just like any other routine that you're doing. You're just converting that into a business aspect. And that's kind of like the light bulb moment. That was towards the end of 2013. And then 2014 is when I launched my coaching and consulting practice. And it's been about 9.5 years now, 3 different best-selling books on LinkedIn, thousands of clients. My wife and I have grown and scaled to a 7-figure business now, which we are super, super proud of. And, we support and typically work with service-based business professionals, real estate agents, insurance brokers, financial service professionals. People are in that service business where they're, obviously looking to grow a client list, make and establish the right connection points between themselves and maybe a collaboration or a power partner for introductions. And it's what we love teaching. And I'm just very proud of the way that we do things because it's the grassroots of establishing human connection. I think there's a lot of people right now that are feeling overwhelmed with how much social media stuff is out there. And I feel that also people are overwhelmed with what actually needs to be done to grow and scale a business. And I like to take that aspect of confusion and overwhelm out of that equation and implement a strategy that's streamlined, simple, duplicatable, but produces results. And that's what I plan to cover today.
That's awesome. And I'm very intrigued when I hear the word power partner. So, well, we definitely, your timing is great because like I said, the last 8 or 9 weeks, we've really been focused on getting organized and very like mindset wise looking to eliminate chaos. So happy to have you take us into your LinkedIn world.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, before I dive in, I always like leaving people with some sort of accountability and a way to continue to learn. I dropped my email address in the chat. If anybody wants to grab that, I can give you a couple minutes right now. I just want everyone that wants some extra accountability. What you'll be receiving from me is a PDF that I'm going to show you during the presentation about how to optimize your profile. You'll also get a little virtual resource packet, but also with the download of that infographic for your profile, I've included a coupon code which will give you free access to a $200 course that I typically have for completely free. So there's a coupon code that you'll see when you enter your information for the profile download. It'll say enter coupon code 5 layers to receive free access to this course, which you're going to get that as well. And I also, my wife and I are doing Get Your Business Organized in 5-day workshop at the end of this month. You'll get a free invitation for that as well. So I always like to leave people with additional resources. So all you have to do is send an email to scott@scottaaron.net. I left it in the chat. In the subject line, just put accountability. I know my team knows exactly what to do with that. I do these presentations all the time. So as long as you put accountability in the subject line, I'll know exactly what it is and what it's for. And you guys will receive that resource additional bonus packet later on today after we're done. So if that's clear and that makes sense to everyone, just type a Y or a yes in the chat, just so I know that everybody is on the same page and understands. Awesome. Good. So you'll actually hear me prompt you to use the chat throughout today's workshop because I believe in retaining information. And those that obviously follow along and obviously acknowledge and take part in some of the exercises that I'm going to take you through are the ones that are going to retain the most information. The other thing that I want to know from all of you, I always like it to take the temperature of the room. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you have fully optimized what you're doing on LinkedIn, it's producing results, you're just running as fast as you can. 1 being you got nothing going on. It's still confusing to you. You're not sure what you need to do. Where would you guys rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 of your knowledge and usability of what you're doing on LinkedIn right now? Type that in the chat. 1, 2, 2 to 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, and that's completely normal. I do at least one of these a week. in various organizations and groups, and this is a common trend, that people are intrigued by LinkedIn, but they just don't know what they need to do. So my goal by the end of today's session is to really open your minds and also your hearts to, using this platform in a very genuine and authentic way. What I'm going to do is we'll run for about, I would say 35, 40 minutes. And we're going to stop at about 10 to the hour. I do have a hard stop at 11 a.m. Eastern, but I'm going to save about 10 minutes at the end of today's presentation for any live questions that you guys may have. So after we're done, I'll kind of open it up to you guys. You guys can raise your little reaction emoji hand, and then you can ask me any questions that you have. But again, please don't forget to send me that email, scott@scottaaron.net. And just in the subject line, just put accountability, and you guys will get that resource packet. So if everybody is ready to dive into today's training, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat, just so I know. All right, here we go. Let me just share my screen. And again, if you guys can see my screen clearly, please also drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Okay, good. So these, I break this down into what I call the 4 layers of LinkedIn. And the 4 layers of LinkedIn, how I categorize them, is almost like a layer cake. And the bottom part of that layer cake is the base, and that's your profile. And then you have the secondary tier on top of that, which is the build of your network. And then you have the messaging, and then you have your content. If you remove any one of those layers or don't optimize them the right way, what happens to that layer cake? It topples over. So I don't want any of your cakes toppling over. I want them to be standing firm and tall and optimized the right way. So the big question is, why LinkedIn for your real estate business? So I like going over some facts first and just explaining to you guys from a 10,000-foot view of what attracted me to LinkedIn, and especially for people that, are doing real estate, whether you're doing it part-time, full-time, some of the time, a little bit of the time, how it could really benefit you. So my big belief, and Gary Vaynerchuk, some of you may be familiar with, has said this before, that your net worth is always directly correlated to your network. And that's what I love about LinkedIn, because you're only allowed 5,000 friends on Facebook. And I think we all know that we don't have the emotional capacity for 5,000 friendships. It's a few hundred that we have the capacity for. On LinkedIn, you're allowed 30,000 connections. And the great thing about LinkedIn is that it's targeted, meaning you can choose exactly who you want to connect with, and you can choose exactly who you want to accept a connection from. But let's talk about money mindset. The income that people make on the platforms they're spending time on is directly related to the end result of what we're looking to get. So if you look at the amount of money on average that someone makes that's spending time on Facebook and Instagram, it's $30,000 a year or less. Compared to LinkedIn, it's $100,000 a year or more. So people say, well, why is that? Well, if you think about it, the business professionals who have the monetary means to purchase a new home, or maybe they're looking to downsize, maybe they're empty nesters, maybe they're looking to purchase some real estate investment properties, you're going to need to connect with those people that have the money mindsets that are in that same realm of people that you're looking to connect with. But also demographic wise, if you think about the average age of a home buyer, it's probably not 18 to 29. It's actually gotten larger. People are waiting longer now to actually make that first purchase, but you're also seeing a greater amount of boomers and even older Gen Xers start to sell and diversify their portfolios, or even get into, like, as I mentioned, real estate investing, or even downsizing the homes that they have. Now, if you look at lead gen, which with any business, and especially a service-based business like you all have. You're providing a service. You are helping people sell their homes and you're helping people buy homes. It is a service that you are performing. Leads are the lifeline to what you're doing, your book of business. If you do not have stable, reoccurring leads coming into your business, you have no business. So there was a 6-month study done by a third-party company that reported this information to Forbes. And Forbes actually wrote a really great article on this about 1.5 years ago. And they found that after this 6-month study, comparing Facebook to LinkedIn for organic lead gen, this company found that LinkedIn was 277% more effective for organic lead gen than Facebook. Not 100% more effective, not 200%, nearly 300% more effective. But again, if you think about the other benefits to using LinkedIn is that you can highly target locations. So a lot of you work in specific areas of wherever you are, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, wherever it is. So if you need to dial in a specific core demographic location, like the greater Philadelphia area, you can do that by building a specific network on LinkedIn when you're connecting and searching with people to filter by that location, but also the user base. So there's 8.1 billion people on Facebook and Instagram, and only a little over 800,000 on LinkedIn. Now, some people may say, well, Scott, don't I want to be on the platform that has more people? Well, I would challenge that question by saying, well, why wouldn't you want to be on the smaller one where you're going to have a greater chance of visibility and connectability? Because more is not necessarily better. The more people there are, the less chance you have of standing out. The less people on a platform, the more of an opportunity you have to stand out and become visible. But let's talk about networking. Just like lead gen, networking is one of the lifelines to our business, right? We're not going to sit and think about the skies opening up and dropping clients into our laps that we're going to, obviously help them sell their houses. We have to create those opportunities. So if you take a look at Facebook, Facebook is the barbecue of social media. That's where people go to hang out. If you look at what is typically shown or what gets the most engagement and is visible on LinkedIn or on Facebook is what? Pregnancy announcements, birth announcements, birthdays, back to school, last day of school, vacations, deaths, unfortunately, all those things, marriages, anniversaries, life events. Now, if you look at Instagram, that's the reality TV show of social media. I call it the Bravo TV of social media. It's scripted. It's not real. Everyone has fake followers, fake commenters. It's not real. It is the highlight reel of someone's life. I don't care what people may say. No one's life looks as perfect as it does on Instagram. But when you look at LinkedIn, it's a global networking event every single time you log on. That's what you're looking to do. You're looking to network. You're looking to create connection and rapport and trust. So if that makes sense so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, 2 other statistics that I always love showing is this one right here. So 93% of B2B marketers, so whether you're B2B or B2C, it's the same thing. 93% consider LinkedIn most effective for lead generation. So I'm a big facts are friendly type of person. That's why my mom always tells me, she says, Scott, facts are friendly. These are facts. So you want to plug into something that is actually factual. But the other statistic that I want you to look at is this one right here. LinkedIn is considered most effective for B2B leads. 80%. 80% of all social media B2B leads come from LinkedIn. 8 out of every 10. So you have to ask yourselves, am I playing in that 80% pool, or am I playing in that 20% combined pool of every other social media platform out there? Now, let's dive into the first layer, which is your profile. So much like a website, your profile has to be filled out from top to bottom, every section. Your headline, your about or your about me section, your experience section, which shows all of the things that you've done in your business career, education, licenses and certifications, which you all have, volunteer experience, skills, all of those things. And for those that do not know this, there is SEO embedded in every aspect of your profile. SEO is search engine optimization, which means LinkedIn is a search engine, just like Google, just like Yahoo, just like Bing. So people are using it to search and find people they want to connect with. And what you have to ask yourselves is, am I taking full advantage of all of the keywords? Do I have real estate mentioned all throughout my profile? So this is what you have to think about. You have to think about the person that you're looking to connect with on the other side of the computer screen. What is that person going to punch in that search engine that will allow my profile to populate? So you have to think about those specific keywords that will allow your profile to populate to the right person. But the other thing is that you have to gather as many personal recommendations as possible. This is a section on the bottom of your profile. It's called the recommendation section. This is where your credibility is made. The more credible you are, the more others will want to hear what you have to offer and how you can help them. So I have close to 510 written recommendations on my LinkedIn profile. So I don't have to convince people anymore that I know what I'm doing. I let 500 other people do it for me. So if you really want to highlight and showcase yourself as a top tier real estate professional, you need to have some of your connections that you know, you like, and you trust speak to your credibility. It could be people on your team, people that you've worked with, helped sell their house, buy a house, collaborated in some way, shape, or form. So you do need to ask these people for those recommendations. So let's look at the infographic that all of you are going to get. For those that emailed me, again, scott@scottaaron.net, you will get this infographic. And again, this is just an example of what it would look like. Obviously, that is not what my profile picture looks like. But if you can see, I selected a power adjective, and this is what you guys can all do. You can use licensed real estate agent, right? Whatever, president, CEO, founder, owner, operator, creator. So you need to pick some sort of power adjective to let people know that you are the owner of your business and what you're doing. And you got to use specific keywords. These are where they are fluttered all throughout. It starts in that headline section. You're not writing a power statement where, I help empty nesters, downsize their houses. That's something that you would include more in the summary section or about me section. So you're not describing in that headline a power statement. It's power keywords using that power adjective. But as you move through and you go to that experience section, this is where you're going to list all of the things that you've done in work. Obviously, the top one is where you're going to highlight what you're doing right now, which is real estate. Everything below it is going to be things that have led to what you're doing right now. So you don't want to negate any of your previous experiences. You want to list everything that you've done. So on my profile, I have about 16 different experiences listed. And the last one are the gyms that I had. I'm not going to negate that experience. I was a brick and mortar business owner for 18 years. There's a lot of experience that comes with that. So whatever you've done, whether it's related to real estate or not, include it. They become points of conversation. They become points of connection and points of conversation with those people that you're networking with. So you do want to add at least 3 experiences, and you must have a 3 to 5 sentence description for each of those. You're not putting bullet points. You're actually writing a short paragraph description of what it is that you do, how you serve, and who you best serve. So if all this is clear so far, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, as you move through this, you're going to get to your summary section. This is where you tell your story. It's where you share your passion. It's where you share your specialization or your niche. Now, 3 key points that you want to take note of. Number 1, your summary section should be somewhere between 300 to 500 words in length to have it fully optimized. It can be as many as 2,500 characters, but 300 to 500 is your sweet spot. The second thing, make sure you write it in first person. I. Not third person like Kramer from Seinfeld. You need to be telling your story, not someone else. And third and final, you need a call to action, a CTA. If someone's reading your summary section, you need to leave them some sort of end result of what you want them to do. Email me here. Book a call with me here. Check out my website here. If you want to create a journey for that person, you got to tell them what you want them to do. So you don't just leave them, here's what I do and that's it. At the end of that, you got to give them some sort of directive of an action that needs to be taken. Now, the last thing is groups. And for real estate professionals, this is a great place for you to start spending some of your time. I recommend to join 2 to 3 groups that relate to you as a person and as a professional, or hobbies that you may have from a business standpoint. You want to join groups that are a reflection of you and who you are. So I'm in some podcasting groups because I do have a podcast. I'm in some coaching groups because I'm a coaching consultant. And I'm also in some speaker groups because I do speaking and training and keynotes. So you want to join some online networking groups within LinkedIn where you can start to create rapport and trust with those individuals. So again, the infographic that you guys are going to get are clearly going to state those things that you need to do and need to update. So that is layer number 1. So if you guys are clear so far on the first layer, please do drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, your second layer. Your second layer is the network that you are looking to build. You want to make sure that you are connecting with people where you'll have a relatable story. Every connection should be an ideal client or a power partner. Now, ideal clients, right, are the people that you choose to be working with. There are specific people that you know. And again, some of you work in specific key demographic areas of New Jersey or PA or wherever you're licensed. You know, you like to sell a certain amount range of home. So you have, you like to work with people that are selling houses for, $299 on up, or maybe $199 to $249, whatever it is. So you have to think about, from an ideal client standpoint, what professions equate to those individuals that own those types of houses. And these are stats that you can find easily on Google. You could easily search, what professions and job industries typically own houses of $399 on up. I mean, and it might spit out like lawyers, doctors, accountants, whatever, business owners. So you could start searching for those ideal clients. You just want to get people into your sphere. But also power partners. So who are great power partners for real estate agents? Other agents, mortgage brokerages, title companies. You have to think about people that you can form a meaningful connection with where you can refer and pass business back and forth. The power partner aspect of building your business on LinkedIn is almost more important than the ideal client. You know why? When there's a trusted resource that is doing an introduction from one person to the other, the gap has been bridged. If the title person that you do business with, if the mortgage brokerage that you do business with has a friend or family member that's looking to buy a home and they do an introduction, you got to talk to my friend so-and-so. They're an amazing real estate agent. They're going to help you find your house. It's done. So you need that whole web of those power partners. You want to connect with people that have similar pain points, right? The frustrations that a lot of people have, whether it's related to how much inventory there is or is not, whether the interest rate on homes is going up, down, sideways, whatever it is. You want to be able to relate to those people, share that pain. That's where rapport and trust can be formed. And those that create the most connections will also earn the most income, and the greatest amount of impact is going to be left on those individuals. So what I want you all to start thinking about is from a key demographic area, from profession or industry, not man, woman, age. It's profession or industry. Who are the best professionals and industry people that I should be inviting into my network? Who are the best power partners that I should be networking with for opportunities to pass business back and forth? That's how networking works. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, please do drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So you have layer 1, which is your profile. Layer 2 is building your ideal network. And I really want you guys really digging into this. Do not take LinkedIn lightly. It is an untapped monetary resource for all of you. Every single one of you, if you use it properly. And that's what we're going over today. Now, the one thing that I want you to think about from a branding aspect, every single one of you is a personal brand, whether you realize it or not. You may have chosen a real estate firm to partner with, but that real estate firm is their own personal brand in their own right. Every single one of you is a representative of that firm, but you represent yourself. You have to create your own income. You have to create your own opportunities, which means you have to build your own personal brand. You need to make yourself stand out. You have to show people how you're different from other people in your industry. So I want you guys to type something in the chat for me. What is something that you know that salmon do that most fish do not do? What is something that salmon do? Yes. They swim upstream. So I want you guys to think about that from a business perspective. For all intents and purposes, real estate really hasn't changed in the last 100 years. It's the same process, right? Someone's looking to buy a house, you show it to them, they like it, they put in an offer, they get it. Sometimes. Same thing with selling a house, right? Put it on the market, bidding war ensues, take the best offer. Here's my thing. What are you doing that's different from anybody else? Are you really being a salmon in a world of fish, or are you going with the regular school of fish train of thought, playing in the same crowded, blood red ocean that everybody else is playing in, instead of playing in that crystal clear blue sea? You don't want to be in that crowded sandbox, right? Then everybody's fighting over the same shovels and, you know, knocking down each other's sandcastles. You want some space. You want some freedom. You want some room to breathe. You want to blaze your own trails. You want to carve out your own paths. You want to go against the grain, not with it. I think this is the big frustration point for a lot of real estate professionals. What can I do to be different? Use LinkedIn. It's a simple answer. If you think about what most real estate professionals are doing to network and get themselves out there, they're joining BNI or TIP, right? They're just going to networking events. They're using Facebook. They're using Instagram, whatever they're TikTok, whatever they're pointing their fingers everywhere, whatever they're doing. Why not use a platform that's built for professionals like you that has other professionals that have the monetary resources to eventually cross that bridge to do something with a home that they're looking to buy or sell? LinkedIn is where you have your own voice as a professional. You attract people by the message that you have, not only in what you're sending to people, but in the content that you're creating. This is how you find your tribe. Right now, as you are watching and listening to this, whether it's live or on the replay, LinkedIn has the highest organic engagement, visibility, and reach on all of social media right now. If there's any other reason that you would need to get onto this platform right away, it's just that. Because you want organic engagement, you want organic visibility, and you want organic reach. Now, the third layer. As you start to optimize your profile, which is layer one, then you start to build that ideal network, which is layer number two. It brings us to layer number three, which ends up being a very challenging one for people, and that is the messaging. If any of you have spent any time on LinkedIn, you probably at some point have received that 18-paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit message from people that are trying to pitch you and sell you and click this link and schedule a call. And do you want new leads every single day? I can add another $30,000 into your business in the next 3 hours. I can set some appointments for you. You want 50 calls a day? I can do that for you. It's spammy, it's gross, and it's fake. And it's not getting people results. You want to network. You don't want to sell or pitch. You need to create meaningful connection with people. So whether you've connected with a potential ideal client or a power partner, you're sending the same exact message. And it has nothing to do with, I can help you sell your house, or are you looking to buy a house? No. You want to do three things in this message. Number one, you state the person's name. You know, hey, Trish, it's so great to be connected to you. Not, dear Trish, comma, space, indent, next paragraph. How's business treating you these days? It's too professional. It's too spammy. It's not warm. You want to be relaxed in your messaging. Hey, Trish, great to be connected to you. The second thing you want to do is what I call lowering the drawbridge. And any of you that live in Jersey, you're going to get this because we have drawbridges everywhere. What you want to do is you want to lower that drawbridge from that person to you, making it easier for them to walk across, right? You want to state some relatable connection points. So it's from an ideal client perspective, you know, hey, Trish, it's great to be connected to you. I noticed that you were in XYZ industry. I actually do a lot of networking and connecting with people in your field. I would love to hear how things are going with you, share more about what I'm up to, and how we can support each other here on LinkedIn. So I've done two things there. I've stated a relatable connection point, letting this person know I do a lot of networking in business with people just like you. But the second thing I did is I used the second most important word in the English language. And that word is support. So there have been actual scientific business studies done that have proved when someone reads the word support and says it in their head, it triggers their brain to release a chemical called oxytocin. This is our feel-good brain chemical. So the person is feeling good as they're reading this message. You're lowering the wall of resistance and you're raising the level of connection. And the third and final thing that you do, going back to something that we talked about within your profiles, is finish with a CTA, a call to action. Statements lead to nowhere. Questions lead to answers. You have to ASK to GET. You have to ask in order to get. If you want someone to write back and schedule a call, you have to ask them to. And you finish with, do you have any time this week or next week for a call or a Zoom? That's it. State their name, lower the drawbridge, finish with a CTA. Never sell and pitch. Always build the relationship first. If that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, this works. It works. It's not spammy. You're looking to form human connection with other people. That's what it's all about. Now, the automated messages. So if any of you have spent any time on LinkedIn, there's a little notification bell on the top of your LinkedIn screen. And sometimes there's a little red dot, and you'll click on it, and it will let you know so-and-so is celebrating a birthday, so-and-so has a work anniversary, so-and-so just changed a job, they got a promotion. Say happy birthday. Just click the button. Just click happy birthday, congrats on the work anniversary, congrats on your promotion. It is a great way to nurture your connections. There's going to be a greater amount of people not responding to your message, it's just the facts, than there will be that do. So the way that you can nurture the people that do not respond to your message is using these automated messages. You wish someone a happy birthday, they write back, thank you so much. You wrap back around with that magic formula message. You are so welcome. I know we haven't connected before, or I'm not sure if you saw my message from a few months ago. Would love to hear what you've been working on, share more about what I'm doing and how we can support one another here on LinkedIn. Anytime for a call or a Zoom this or next week. That method by itself can create more leads than you have time. This happened to me about 1.5 years ago. I had a work anniversary and I had a bunch of people wish me, congratulate me on my work anniversary, which I said, thank you. And they said, you're welcome. And then the door was open. I then checked out where we left off with the messaging. And I said, I know it's been a while since we connected. Would love to hear what you've been working on, blah, 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 blah. I messaged that to 24 people. 12 people responded, yes, let's hop on a call. Of those 12, I closed 4 people into my coaching, which generated an extra $40,000 of revenue into our business. Just from a happy birthday or congrats message. So there are multiple ways to generate leads on LinkedIn. Now, I want you to type something in the chat box, not for me, but for yourselves. I want you to type in, fear is my friend. If you can affirm that, I want you to type it into the chat, and there's a reason why. Something that I tell people all the time is that when getting uncomfortable becomes you're comfortable, you're doing big things. When getting uncomfortable becomes you're comfortable, you're doing big things. You want to talk to new people. You want to build a larger sphere of influence and connections. You don't want to just post and pray. You don't want to live in mediocrity. No one wakes up and says, you know what? I want to live a pretty mediocre life. No, we all want to crush it. Whatever is uncomfortable right now gets comfortable the first few times that you do it. And then so on and so on. Most people are just posting and waiting for others to reach out to you. Sales, which again, is real estate. It's a contact sport. You have to contact people. You have to create those sales. And those people that reach out to the most new people are the ones that are going to win. So let's finish with the fourth and final layer, which is your content. Your content must do one of two things. It has to educate your audience, or it has to inform your audience, educating people on something new in the real estate world, or informing them of something they didn't know. Your content has to build the know, like, and trust. No one, especially in real estate, ever purchases or sells a home with an agent that they don't know, like, or trust. That has to be built. And when you're producing content on LinkedIn, you have to produce it from something that I call the PSP, the passenger side perspective, not the DSP. That's the driver side perspective. That's your perspective. You have to think about the person, as I mentioned earlier, on the other side of the computer screen. What is something they need to hear? What is a pain point or an area of concern that I can shed some light on to ease that pain point or that area of concern? So unlike other social media platforms, on LinkedIn, you only have to post 3 times a week, not 3 times a minute or hour or a day, 3 times a week. No Facebook or Instagram type pics, no lifestyle pictures, no bait posts. And here's your flow. So this is my recommendation. You can take it or leave it. Monday, you always want to start with a video, 2 to 4 minutes in length. If you're just getting started, it could be 30 to 60 seconds. You can use your phone, record it, upload it right to the platform. It should be some sort of tangible tip video. Maybe you're giving an update on the interest rates. Maybe you're doing a comparison between a 15-year and a 30-year mortgage. Maybe you're going to talk about reverse mortgages, right? Maybe renting versus buying. When is it good to rent? When is it better to buy? You want to be a person of value. You want to give people a reason to watch that video. On Wednesday, you want to conduct something called a market research poll question. So you can do polls on LinkedIn, much like Instagram and Facebook, and you want to ask questions that's going to give you some insight to what your core demographic audience is struggling with. So you can say something like, have you thought about buying a home in the next 6 months? Yes, no, other comment below. Have you given any thought to selling your home in the next 6 months? Yes, no, comment, or other comment below. This is going to tell you where your core audience stands right now with either buying or selling. Or you can do, do you prefer to rent or buy? Rent, buy, other comment below. And what that's going to do, it's going to provide you that market research information that you need to create further content. So on that one example, if most of your network says, I prefer to rent, there's got to be a reason why. And then what you can do is on Friday, you can commit to a longer form post up to 3,000 characters in length or an article on the pros and cons of renting versus buying. So all you're doing is shedding light on something that your network said that you need to shed some light on. So all this is doing, it's branding yourself. You're building that personal brand through that content that you're educating people on. You're being that authoritative figure and that value-added person that you were meant to be. You need to give people a reason to connect with you, to follow you, to engage in your content. So if you focus on that educational 2 to 4 minute video on Monday, that market research poll on Wednesday, and that longer form post that ties back to that market research poll on Friday, you will be good to go. So if that makes sense so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So again, that first layer is optimizing that profile. That second layer is building your network. That third layer is messaging the right way. And that fourth layer is the content that you need to produce. And again, anyone that emails me, obviously you're going to get the infographic and free access to that LinkedIn course, which is going to go into further detail of some of the stuff that we talked about today. Now, no matter where you are in your real estate journey, if you're just getting started out, you've been doing this for a while, and you haven't yet used LinkedIn, if you use it properly, you will have massive results for life. This one platform can solve all of your business issues. It's the cure-all for not having people to talk to, which in real estate, that's the number one bottleneck that people have. So people keep rinse, washing, and repeating their warm market. You got to think outside your warm market. You got to take a cold market and make it a warm market. But here's the simple truth. Entrepreneurship, which all of you are, is all about rapport building. It's all about relationship building, and it's all about trust building. And I just want you all to remember this. There's one aspect of entrepreneurship that has no ClickFunnels, it has no opt-in, and it has no email sequence for, and that is human connection. Your number one priority as a real estate professional, outside of being a person of value, is leveraging the relationship marketing side of what you do. Those that use the most important marketing aspect of their business that's sitting in your back pocket, which is your ability to create genuine, authentic human connection with other people on a consistent basis, are the ones that are going to win. So I just want to leave you with this one last thought. The one thing that I always come back to with whatever I'm doing is my failures always open the doors to my successes. You're going to fail much more than you will ever succeed. But those failures, those things, those bumps in the road are what's going to prep you and provide those learning lessons needed to learn how to succeed. So you want to take those bumps, you want to take those bruises, and you want to keep moving forward, because the only way that you fail is if you quit this journey. So with that, we have a few minutes left. I want to open it up to all of you for any questions. So really quickly, Rochelle said, do we need to upgrade? No, you don't. Again, until you really leverage the free version of LinkedIn, don't upgrade to Premium, Navigator, or Recruiter. Squeeze the juice out of the free. And if you feel that you need more, you can always upgrade. But if you haven't leveraged the free version yet, don't spend any unnecessary money that you don't have to. Any other questions? We have about 5 minutes left.
Scott, can I just jump in and ask a question?
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, outside of those 3 posts, which I love, because I feel like so much of social media, it feels like it's got to be a constant, like you can't take your foot off the gas for a moment. So I love how intentional and sort of decisive it is. But how much time do you think people should be spending daily just going through their LinkedIn and just making connections?
20 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes a day, connect with the right people, message people properly, produce a piece of content on those 3 days, and go back to your normal day. You should not be scrolling and trolling or hanging out on social media. That is just literally, you're just giving your time and energy to the wrong things instead of the right things.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions for Scott, or any feedback too? I'm just like super stoked. I took so many pages of notes here, Scott. Huh. Awesome.
Oh, you're
Thank
very
you, Jesse
welcome.
and Millie. Yeah, great info. Really good info.
Remember, you have to ASK to GET. So if you don't ask, you're not going to get. Going once, going
Still
twice. I recently went back on and saw that it's not the same stuffy platform it used to be. So other than the 3 posts, we should still keep it more professional. Absolutely. You want to make sure that you're a person of value, right? Again, being a salmon in a world of fish, you have to make yourself different. And being that servant leader, that servant professional, that person of value is what's going to separate you from everybody else.
Awesome. If there aren't any other questions, I definitely encourage you, if you didn't get Scott's email at the beginning, I'm just going to go ahead and stick it here again, or if you want to go ahead and stick it in the chat there again, then that'd be awesome, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think this has been just for me incredibly eye-opening, and has given me a newfound appreciation for the platform, and also great context, because I felt like it was just an extension of what everything else is requiring of us, like the Facebook suck and the Instagram and the, all the pomp and circumstance. And this just feels like so different. And for those of us too, who maybe prefer the genuine, authentic connection to the hard sell that sometimes, leaves us feeling like we need a shower with real estate, right? I think this is awesome. It speaks to those people. So yes, and Lynette even just mentioned that, just the authenticity of it. I love your approach. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm definitely I have some homework this afternoon for sure. I think all of us came up with some good tips, and I hope again that you'll reach out with Scott and take advantage of the additional resources that he has made available to all of us.
Yep. Two final things.
Yes.
3 final things. Number 1, thank you so much for this opportunity. Number 2, again, anyone that wants those resources, you can email me. And number 3, the one thing that my wife and I, this is what we teach in our mastermind and our courses. And I am on Instagram. It's at Scott Aaron LinkedIn, if anybody wants to connect with me there. The one thing Nancy and I always talk about is, are you serious about what you're doing, or are you interested in what you're doing? Because there's a big difference in being serious about being a real estate professional, or being interested in being a real estate professional. Right? So you want to think about, why is there so much attrition in real estate? Is because it sounds like a great idea, right? It sounds awesome when you get into it. But then when you think about and get into the guts of it and what it takes to succeed, you're like, this is too uncomfortable. There's too much to do. I can't do this. The negative self-talk starts to trickle in. If you are committed to this, you're going to kill it. If you're interested in it, it's going to become a hobby. And we all know what hobbies pay, which is nothing. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Awesome. Really awesome. Thank you again so much, Scott. You've given us some tremendous information here today, and I appreciate you kicking off our May series with such a bang. Thank you so much. Again, I really encourage everybody to reach out to Scott to take advantage of the additional resources. And I'm sure we'll be in touch in many new ways, Scott, especially since we're only a couple of miles apart. So Thank you again. So glad to make the connection with you and have you now as a resource for our network. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody, and have a great rest of your May. And anything I can do to serve you, just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful
day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.